so this time we're going to look at commentary. I had a few people contact me through the forums and through YouTube asking if I could do a video on commentary. In reality, I've been commentating on all the videos that I've posted so far because I've been looking at specific skills and specific details. The commentary has tended to concentrate on those issues, so it's been cornering. I've been talking really solely about cornering. So let's have a look at commentary as a whole. If you undertake a course of instruction, IAM, ROSPA, or you do a course with one of the emergency services, the likelihood is you'll be asked to do some commentary as part of your drive and as part of your final test or your final drive. And if there's one thing that terrifies people more than anything else, it's commentary, and there's no need for it. There's no mystery to commentary. I'll talk you through a few of the principles, and then we'll do a little bit of a commentary drive. I'll sort of post this video as an introduction to commentary because there's quite a lot to it, but we'll start by doing some commentary on sort of urban and suburban roads, fairly low speeds where there's plenty of hazards and lots of things to talk about. So commentary is an opportunity for you as a student or as a driver under examination to demonstrate to your examiner that you know what you're doing, and that you know where you're looking, and that your thought processes are correct, and that your planning is good. If you struggle with commentary, don't worry too much. First of all, a bad commentary won't mean that you'll fail any kind of driving test. A good commentary though can lift even an average drive. So if you're on test and your driving is fairly average, but your commentary is really good, it can lift your drive in your examiner's point of view. Commentary is an opportunity for you to describe exactly what you're going to do when you're going to do it. And it's changed over the years as well. When I first started in police driver training, really commentary, you were expected to cram as much as you possibly could into your commentary. So you were expected to memorise loads of definitions from roadcraft and from the highway code, and insert those into your commentary at appropriate points to fill gaps where there was nothing to talk about. That attitude sort of changed over the last 20 years since I started doing my first police driving courses. And the attitude towards commentary now is more about keeping it relevant, talking about what you're looking at, what you're going to do. So the way I like to sort of teach commentary is to ask students simply to tell me what they're looking at, describe where they're looking, and what things are standing out to them as potential or actual hazards. And then it's your opportunity to talk about your planning process and what you're going to do about them. One of the important things is if you are commentating and you're talking about what you're going to do, really your drive itself should follow that plan. So it's no good talking about one thing and then doing something else, if that makes sense. It's important that your commentary is relevant to what you're actually doing or what you're going to do. So I would always start a commentary by describing what I'm looking at, and the observation process, if you like, when you're driving along should always start in the far distance. So your commentary will start with a description of what you can see in the far distance, and then you'll work your way back from there to the middle distance, then to the near distance, possibly the sides, but definitely what's happening behind as well, to the rear, a description of what's happening in the mirrors. Once you've worked your way back from the far distance to the middle distance, near distance, sides and rear, you're back to the far distance again then, because you've moved forward. Depending on how fast you're going, you might have moved forward a considerable distance. But in the meantime, you'll be talking about the hazards that you're looking at, the things which might potentially cause you problems, like these dogs here that we're moving away from, and describing to your examiner or describing to whoever's with you what you're going to do. So we talked about the mistakes that people make. One is that they let the commentary affect the driving. So there's many people, and I'm sure Anybody who's undergone advanced instruction will be familiar with this. The driving will be developing nicely, they'll be coming on, starting to get the hang of system and starting to get the hang of looking in the right places and doing the right things, and as soon as their instructor asks them to commentate, the driving starts to deteriorate because they're thinking too much about what they're saying and not enough about the driving. So the important thing to start with is you've got to have a little bit of spare capacity. So I wouldn't start trying to commentate very early on in a course of instruction. I would look to get your techniques correct, get yourself accurate before you start working on commentary. You've got to get to a point where those actions involved in moving the car along are becoming second nature before you can start talking about them, because if they're not, you require all your spare capacity, your spare mental capacity, just to think about what you're doing. So once you've got that spare capacity, then it's time to start thinking about commentary and talking. And like I said, I think the best way to start is to start by describing what you can see. So in this case, we're looking in the distance, we can see that there's a roundabout coming up. It's a junction with the motorway, and we're going straight on towards Bamber Bridge on the A6. In the middle distance, I've got a pedestrian to the near side, and to the rear I've got vehicles approaching. There's no need for a signal, and we're still on the speed phase in the system. Now we get in the gear, it's clear from the right, and then we move back to the far distancing. So the far distance now, I can see the road bending round to the left from the junction that I'm leaving the roundabout from. So extending my view now, I can see the road now bounding round to the right. Mirror check, I've got a car behind. Checking the mirrors now, giving a left signal that I'm moving lanes to the left. And then move your observations right to the far distance. We've got a red traffic light, so my plan is to stop at the red traffic light. Simple. We're going left at the traffic light, checking the mirrors before applying the brakes and bringing the speed down. We'll probably have to stop. We're going to come to a nice smooth stop, just far enough back that we could move out if that vehicle stalls or breaks down or we have some other problem. Checking the mirrors now into first gear, mirrors and shoulders before moving off. So we're describing the actions that we're doing, but we're not rushing it. You may have sat next to other advanced drivers who give a commentary at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and they sound like one of those actors that does the small print on the radio commercials for financial services. Your house may be at risk if you don't keep up payments. That machine gun sort of delivery, yeah, it can be impressive to a degree, but actually, you know what, does it mean anything? Are we trying to cram every single detail into our commentary? No, we're not. So here we're on a section of sort of semi-rural road. The road's disappearing away in the distance. I can see that there's a bridge. Double white line, sorry, the nearest one to us is solid. Checking the mirrors. Vehicle to the offside there, I'm just looking to see if there's anybody in it, and in the distance now, extending our view, vehicle to the left with an indicator on, checking the mirrors, moving away from that junction, looking for any signs from the driver that they're going to move out, and they're not. Road's bending round to the left, I'm moving towards the white centre line and looking through the trees to the left to get an extended view. At the next junction, and we can see the traffic lights now, they've just turned to green, that junction we're going to turn right. So I'm checking the mirrors. The appropriate point, I'm going to put a signal on, and now I'm on the speed phase and I'm still on the brakes. I get the speed right for the turn before we come off the brakes and turn into the junction. So extending my view into the distance now, the road's going round to the right, we've got street lamps to the left, you can see the back of a warning triangle sign, a pedestrian on the near side. So with pedestrians, I'm always looking at them to see if they've got an animal with them or small children. If they have got an animal, if it's on a lead, it's under control. A repeater sign there in the distance for 50 mile an hour. And we've got some houses and stuff to the left, which indicate there might be a junction. So we're linking that with the vehicles in front turning off, and we're linking it with vehicles joining our road. So here's another key aspect of commentary, observation links. It's a really good opportunity for you to demonstrate that you're thinking about the right kind of things. So you're looking for clues as to what you're going to encounter further up the road. If you see the bins are out, there is a good possibility that the bin men might be out further down the road collecting the bins. If we see a parked car like the one on the offside, there's a good chance that somebody will open the door and get out of it into the flow of traffic, just like this lad's done here. Now, alright, we could already see that, but that's the sort of example that we're looking for of the type of thing that we want to introduce into our commentary. So now we're in a more built-up area, 30 mph speed limit. We've already seen the 30 signs, and we can see that there's street lamps. A vehicle in the junction on the left, so I'm checking the mirrors and moving away from it in case it pulls out, ready to brake if it does. Eye contact with the driver. Now looking in the distance again, the traffic lights are on green at the moment. They could change to red, so I'm ready to stop if we need to. Maintaining third gear, scanning into the junction, making sure there's nobody coming through on red, no emergency vehicles or anything like that. Up ahead I've got reflections in the houses on the near side that show me traffic coming towards us. Just got a reflection of the traffic coming towards us there. And looking in the distance, there's somebody with a child. There's our primary hazard, so we're picking out the most hazardous things that we're going to encounter, and I'm slowing down now. I can't go too far offside because of the oncoming traffic, so I've lost some speed because of that child on the near side. Looking in the distance now, the road's bending round to the left, this vehicle's turning off into the junction, so I'm off the gas until it's turned in, extending the view now. The road's going left and then it's going round to the right. We're obviously coming into a town, so the road's going round to the right there. I'm just positioning near side a little bit to get an earlier view, and as we go around the corner we'll get a good view of what we're going to do and what's coming up. So we've got one vehicle pulling out. It's not that one that's the problem, it's the next one that might emerge. I've dealt with the van just by lifting off the gas, no need for any brakes. In the distance I can see a mini roundabout. The vehicle in front, it's only just joined our road. He might turn off in the next half mile or so. Where vehicles pull out in front of you, they quite often turn off again within the first sort of half a mile. So we're going just slightly off to the right at this mini roundabout, so I'll put a right signal on. Nothing coming from the right. We drive onto the roundabout. So extending our view now as we pass the train station. I can see a sign in the distance, no left turn. I've got a junction off to the left. I've got a view into that. We can see that there's nothing approaching that junction. So it's no left turn. Continue to follow the road round to the right. Still expecting that van in front to turn off at some stage. Checking the mirrors, vehicles have just emerged behind us. Now I'm going left at these traffic lights, so I'm checking the mirrors, positioning the left turn lane, and coming to a nice smooth stop, just far enough back from the van that we could pull out and move past it if he broke down or had some other kind of problem. So your commentary doesn't have to stop when you're stationary. Check your mirrors, look around, you're still driving. So talk about the sort of things that you're looking at. Filter hour's still on green, scanning now into the distance. I'm going to go right at the next roundabout, so I'm checking the mirrors and moving into the right hand lane. As we thought, the white van turned off as we predicted it would do. Those little predictions are like gold if you're giving a commentary, because you can refer back. Now if you make a prediction and it doesn't come true, just don't mention it again. But if you throw little predictions in every now and again, some of them will come true, and it's really good if you can mention them and refer back to them to your examiner or whoever's watching you and say, yeah, just as we predicted, the van's turned off. So just notice we're coming to a 20 mph speed limit area. We're town centre, zebra crossing, just scanning across left and right, see if anybody's looking to cross, keeping the speed down. Vehicle in front's turning off, got parked vehicles on the near side, so we're always scanning to the left of them, underneath them, looking at movements of feet, looking at the pedestrians who are looking to cross, usually quite carelessly. This guy's got his shopping, so I'm off the gas completely. Scanning left and right, lots of things happening. So in a situation like that, it's impossible really to talk about everything that's happening and talk about all the relevant hazards. There's too much going on, so just pick one or two out. Pick the pedestrian in the road out, he's a very key hazard. If we have to, we're going to have to stop. Talk about the people on the pedestrian crossing, talk about the parked cars. But there's a multitude of other things, and I could probably talk for half an hour just from one picture of that road, of the number of potential hazards that exist there. So again, we're stationary here, we're looking around, checking the mirrors, looking at the traffic moving off in the distance. The road's going off, sort of off round to the right, quite a slow speed. We're still in that 20 mile an hour speed limit area. We've got pedestrians on the off side and the near side. And checking the mirrors, I've got stationary cars behind me as well. This is where some people get really uncomfortable when they're stationary in traffic and they're trying to commentate. It's not easy. But actually, just look around. You look around for little things you can talk about. The driver in front not using the handbrake, for instance, just relying on the foot brake. Start pointing out things that other people are doing wrong. I see that as like the second child syndrome. Anybody who's got children will know that one child's naughty, the other child will take great delight in telling you that they don't do that, do they, Daddy? I don't do that. Actually, it's not a bad thing to introduce into your commentary. Look at the way that car in front is driving. Well, we're not going to do that. So that's another little trick for commentary. So looking into the distance now, we've got traffic lights on green. Looks like they've only just turned to green. Speed of the vehicles is very slow. Vehicle badly parked on the near side. We're just looking to make sure that isn't going to move off. We're turning left, checking the mirrors, putting a left signal on. Speed and gear are correct, and we're turning in. Always good to introduce some system into your commentary. So at some point, if you do get the opportunity to talk through the full 5 phases of the system, that's great. It's not absolutely necessary. If there's lots of hazards and lots of hazardous stuff going on, your examiner will prefer you to talk about the hazards and point out what it is you're looking at and what your plans are. But if you do get an opportunity to talk through the full 5 phases of the system, and we'll have a go in a minute, then that's always good. So again, stationary at traffic lights, looking around, try not to dry up too much. We're trying to weigh up what the vehicles in front are like, what the drivers are like, trying to make some assumptions about what they're going to do, whether they're going to turn off, where they might be going. People give off little clues, little car body language about what they're doing. You can often spot when somebody's lost, looking for a turn off, looking for a junction. You can spot when somebody's keen to get past the car that's in front of it and looking for the overtake. You can spot when you might get an aggressive reaction from the car in front if you're looking to overtake. So looking ahead now, the road's bending round to the right. I've got the flashing school lights. I've a bit of local knowledge. I know there's a school further up here. I should do, it was my school. But I know there's a school further up here. It's unlikely though, because it's a Saturday, that there's any school kids out and about. So there's 2 possibilities. One, there's an event at the school that requires those school crossing lights to be switched on. Or 2, the school crossing patrol left them switched on yesterday on Friday and forgot to switch them off. Doesn't look like there's any event on at the school, but a nice little early indication of what's coming up and what we might possibly encounter further up the road. Aside for the mini roundabout, so let's talk system. Checking the mirrors, going straight on. I'm looking for vehicles turning from the right, which are going to have to bring us down to a stop. Position and speed. So we're on the speed phase and we've actually had to come to a stop. Now it's gear phase, mirrors, shoulders, and now we're accelerating onto the roundabout, making sure there's nothing approaching from the left. So there's your little opportunity to talk system. Don't overload your commentary with system. Put it in 2 or 3 times during your commentary, but you don't need to absolutely just talk system through every hazard that you get to. Your examiner is more interested in what you're looking at and what your plans are. So look. So we can accelerate into a following position on the van. And this is where we now start looking in further ahead as the road opens up. 2 signs there. Here's another tip for your commentary. Road signs. Always good to mention whatever road signs you see. So there's warning signs top to bottom. You read them top to bottom. First one is warning us of cyclists. The second one of a bend to the right. And then we see another one, 400 yards, there is some roadworks and chevron boards to the right. We've got a traffic cone on the near side that may have been left out by the workman. So road signs, just call them out as part of your commentary. And it's always good to sort of have a knowledge of the correct terminology for those road signs as well. So where you see a sign for uneven road surface, some people call it out as a bumpy road surface or bumps in the road. That's all fine, but you know, we're trying to demonstrate that we know what we're talking about here. So always good to learn the correct terms for those road signs. It's an uneven road surface. So that's commentary. Well, it's an introduction to commentary anyway. We'll do more on commentary in the future. We'll do it on some more rural roads. We'll do it where the speeds are higher. We'll do some motorway commentary, because I'm conscious we haven't done any motorway driving yet. But as an introduction to commentary, that's the basic principles. Say what you see, tell us what you're going to do about it, and use commentary as an opportunity to tell your examiner what you're doing, what you're going to do, and to let them know what your thought processes are, because a huge part of driving is the mental processes that are involved. It's not just what you do with the vehicle. So I hope that's been of use to you. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Reg Local, and we'll see you next time.